You have your candidate you have selected, you bring it there, and you'll be ticking. So in 2017, JAMB brought this application. It is just have done due diligence on it. It is transferred to that application, which makes it the institution will make their submission. Even and those are the issues that are paramount. But with our ability to use telephones, we are overcoming this problem. So that is essentially what caps it. I don't know whether you have questions for me. That's where I will need to talk more. I believe you all know the procedures, or have you? You all know the procedures that you need to go through before you become a JAMB candidate. You are required to register for the national identity number and all those stuff. Those are basic things that you must have been informed. Do you have questions?
Morning, sir.
Morning.
So I wanted to ask, my name is Ajike Olawalemi. I am from Elion College and Leadership Academy. So I wanted to know that, can you still go to a school that you didn't put in your JAMB form? Given that those 4 spaces, the university you want to go to, it wasn't in those 4 spaces, can you still go there?
Okay.
Especially for public schools.
Okay. Is that all, or should we take all the questions?
My name is Olabisi Clinton, and I'm from International Christian Academy. The question is, if one is done with CAPS, what's the next level for admission?
Thank you very much. The first question is on whether you could be admitted in an institution aside from the one you choose. Did I get it right? If you reject it and contact the institution on time, you could be forwarded again for the admission. You know, all admissions have spaces. All these programs, just like you said, every program is approved, and you have approved capacity for the program. Law will have 40, 90, or 120. So if you talk to the school in good time that your rejection was an error, you could be presented again.
This is Nadi Melody from Elion College and Leadership Academy. My question is it possible to make an amendment to the subjects that you've already registered for JAMB?
If it's during the registration process, it could be done. But there was somebody that came to my office yesterday. The candidate has registered for mock exam. Registration has closed. Mock is just this Saturday, and he wants to change it. That will not be possible.
My name is Raphael Miki from Tidal College. My question is it possible for you to have a change in the course and still in the same institution if you fulfill the requirements?
Yes, sir. My name is Krigerinoa from Paxton, November. I want to ask that if you you make the mistake in choosing your course, what are the things you can do? if there's a mistake in your course, when you fill in your JAMB form, you made a mistake in filling in the course.
Can you give an example?
Like you want to go for pharmacy, but you mistakenly wrote medicine. Now what are the things you can do?
No, you can only change it. You see the JAMB provision allows for change of course.
But I'm not giving admission. What's the solution to that kind of thing?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Just like you said, we didn't talk about it. My topic does not cover it. We have the guideline for admission. That guideline for admission is where you talk about merit, catchment, and ELDS. Merit, as it stands, is for merit. The merit is a certain percentage of the 100%. If merit is
physical sciences, we are on auto cruise now. You are invited now. Welcome him with a hand, please. Thank you, sir. The student. I was asked to come and talk briefly on affect some of us that we graduated some years ago, as my past chancellor said. And assuming that this information is known, some of us will not have the grade that we had. When I was in school, I was too playful. The only thing I know is that I should not fail any course that I registered for. Me that this guy, you can make more things in this place. So he now introduced me to some of the things that I should do. Then that was when I now know the implication of this course I started having. That having 40 is not the same thing as having 50. But I thought that the moment I enter university, I register for an exam, I must pass it. I always pass. I didn't make first class, I didn't make 2-1. But I thank God I made the second place. So now this morning I need to introduce or to tell us some of the things that we need to know. The first thing first, every university has the rules and the regulations. As you've been told initially in this university, attendance in classes is very, very important. If you don't have the minimum attendance in class, you will not be allowed to write the exam. And for you not to be allowed to write the exam, which means that you are not to have any grade at all in that particular place. Second slide. Okay, now when you come to the university, this is the kind of thing that we are doing in the university. We call this one a registration form. On the registration form, we have a designation for courses. We put them into units, the number of lecture hours, the number of tutorial hours, then the number of practical hours per week. If a course is being designated as 3 units, it may be 2 hours for lecture, 1 hour for tutorial. Tutorial means that you feel you don't want to ask your lecturer that taught you, another person will come and they give you that tutorial classes. In those days when we have what we call the graduate assistant in the school, or the graduate student that are on the master's program, they are the one that normally handle these tutorial classes. If I teach you something now, another person will come which is junior to me and you ask him or her questions. That is what we mean by the courses. All right, we are here now. For example, we have Bio 101, which is general biology. The status means that it is compulsory. That is, you have to do it. Now, in those days when we are in school, there are a lot of confusion. They will say that some is compulsory, some is required, some is elective. That they required, you need to do it, you may not pass, you may pass. But elective or whether compulsory, once you register for that particular course, you must pass that particular course before you can graduate in that particular, before you can graduate. So irrespective of whether it is designated as a compulsory or as an elective. Now, next one. All right, now there is what you call the number of units that you need to register for. This one differs from one university to the other. But basically, from the NUC regulation, the minimum a student can register for is 17 units in a semester, basically. But some universities say that the minimum you can register for is 18 or 19. Then the maximum you can register for equally differs according to the dictates of the university. Some may put it at the bar of 24 units, some may put it at 27 units, depending on the career capability of each student. That number of units is what we are attaching to the courses, which shows the weight of that particular course. Some may be 1 unit, some may be 3 units, and some may be 4 units, some may be 2 units. Next one. Okay, next one. Then when we are talking about the preparation for the examination is into 2 parts. We have a continuous assessment and we have the end of semester examination. If we have the continuous assessment, comprises of the assignments, quizzes, whether organized or unorganized one, impromptu tests, and other things like that. That carries 30% in this university. So university may make it be 40%. Then end of the semester examination in this university is 70%, or in some university is 60%. So the 2 components added together forms the total mark that you are going to have in each of the courses at the end of the semester. Please, the next one. Now, condition for writing the examination is very, very important. Every university has its own rules and regulations for you to be able to qualify to write the examination. Number 1 that I've talked about here is the attendance in classes. If you don't have the minimum attendance of 80%, you'll not be allowed to write the exam. Then some other conditions are attached into it according to various the rules of each university. The way that you have to abide by those rules and you have to satisfy those rules for you to be able to allow to write the examination. And during the course of examination, there is something that is very, very important that I always advise my students. Please run away from anything involving examination malpractices. Examination malpractices, if you are caught, is total expulsion. Not that you'll be given 1 semester, 2 semesters to go and rest at home. No. Even when I was in University of Ilorin, if you are caught in 100 level for cheating, they will not try you, not until your final year. And the final year they will try you and they will tell that and you go. Yes. So we are told that examination malpractices is something that they don't want to even hear about it at my own university. Even in this university, we don't want it. It's not even good at all. It's something that is immoral to be involved in examination malpractices. So please, I will advise you that anywhere you find yourself, please run away from anything beside you. Please don't cause any problem for me. Look around when you want to write an exam. Whether it's easy. We are waiting for the next one. Next one. Now, this is how we grade our scripts in this place. 70% and above is A, which is 5 points. Then a 60 to 69, that is 4 points, is denoted as B. Then a 50 to 59 is C, which is 3 points. F. But we are just magnanimous enough to say that it is E, that's 1 point, because we don't encourage a student to have 40 to 44. So now, this is how we grade the script. This is how we grade it goes on. Is on 5 points average. 70 A, which is 5 points. 60 to 69 B, which is 4 points. 50 to 59 C, 3 points. The next slide, sir. Now, next slide. No. Okay, now this is where that we need to take the courses with the points, with the marks. We are having 65. 65 is a 4 points, so it is going to be 4 multiplied by 3. That one is going to give us 12 points. So if somebody has between 40 and 44 in a 3-unit course, is going to have only 3 points because it's going to be 3 multiplied by 1. That is 3. Compared to somebody that is having 12 points. And assuming that we are having an A, which is a 70 in that 3-unit course, it's going to be 3 multiplied by 5. That is going to give us 15. So you see the wide difference. So that is where we need to take note. Anytime that you find yourself in the university of the day. We have students in this place that never had a B because she graduated on level 0 and then made up her mind, find yourself in that particular place. You can equally be the one that will, okay, I want to have a 5-point average. Of recent, the best graduating student from the University of Ibadan, which is a mathematician, he told us how he managed to have that grade. That since the time he entered into the university, he has made up his mind that the least is going to have is going to be a B, and he made it because he knows how to do the calculation. And that's why that we are putting up this template. Please let us study it very well. You see that physics 107, that is number 7 there, is a 1-unit course. The student had 70, then what is the total thing is having there? That is 5. But whereas physics 101, which is 3 units, he made a 60, which is B. So 3 multiplied by 4 is giving us a 12. So assuming that he made an A in that one, and he made B at the other one, by the time you add the two together, it's going to give you a higher point than the other way around. So if it's on the vice versa, that is having an A in the physics 101, that's going to give you 50 points. Plus the other one is going to give you 5 points. Add it together, that is 20. But now it's having a 12 plus 5, that is 17. That is a big difference between 17 and 20. So that is how we do the calculation for the maths. Next slide, sir. Now, how do you now know your what we call the grade point average, GPA? GPA is the grade point average that we had all your points together divided by the total number of units in each semester. That one will give you the average of your points. So that's how we call it a grade point average. All the points you are making are divided by the total number of units for that particular semester. That one will give you the average. Then we have what we call a CGPA, cumulative grade point average. That is what we are using. We are not using the grade points at the end of the day in every university. No university is using the GPA, but every university is using the CGPA to now tell you the class of grade you are having. So that is to tell you that there is no point at all for you to play right away from your 100 level. If you say that in my 100 level I can play around and it will have a CGPA of 1.2, it's not going to count when I get to 200 level. No, it's going to count because it's going to be a cumulative thing. Your 100 level results added to the 200 level, added to 300 level, added to 400 level, then we find the average, and that one is going to give us the CGPA, that's a cumulative grade point average. Next slide, sir. Now, this is how we calculate the CGPA. Now, anybody into a class, we have between 1.5 to 2.39, that is per class. Then the 2.40 to 3.49, that's second class lower. Then the 3.50 to 4.49, that's second class upper. Then the first class starts from a 4.5 to 5.0. So you can make it. It's not something that you cannot make. So you can make a 4.5 to 5.0. It's not bad. You can equally make a 3.5 to 4.49. That is not too bad. Then you can make, but I will not advise anybody to have between 1.50 to 2.39. That is what we call let my people go. So as the market it is these days, it's very, very difficult for anybody that is even having a 2-2, we call it with a class, 2-2 to even get employment, talk less of somebody having a third class. Even if your father is having a company that you believe that you are going to work in that company, but you may have somebody working under you that make the first class. But by the time you are now talking, you say, Mr. Man, keep quiet, we know your grade. Oh, it's going to be a disgrading thing. So you'll not be able to even raise your head up in the society that this is what I did. So I would rather advise you that please try as much as possible to aim high so that you'll be able to get to that place. Don't aim low so that you'll not be able to get to that place. In mathematics, we have what we call a projectile, in which that it has an angle of elevation, angle of depression. That's when you see a bird on the tree, you carry your catapult, you want to aim at the bird, you hit the bird with a particular angle so that you'll be able to hit it. That is the same thing with this CGPA or everything. You carry your book, you carry your knowledge, aim high with a particular angle of saying that by the time I shoot this one, I'll be able to land.
Thank you very much, Dr. Olufemi Alabi. We will be quickly inviting a former UN officials that we proudly have here, talking about Professor Abafemi Badejo, a very
welcome to Chrisland. You have a fantastic opportunity, and that is our talking to you and several other people talking to you. I must say that I, unlike the Vice Chancellor, had a similar opportunity, but at a different level, in the sense that as students those days, the Western state was very well organized. It's not like what you have today. You had somebody who went around all the secondary schools and will talk to them about career opportunities and things like that. And I had been reading a lot as a young man, and I was excited first class in the sciences when you make the calculation in mathematics. But in history, political science, just aim for second class upper. Of course, interestingly, a guy that was a year ahead of mine broke the records with economics and made a first class. But in my set, I had the best result. It was a second class upper. On the basis of that, I was asked to come back to the university to be a lecturer because I was excited about being a lecturer by the time I was finishing, as opposed to wanting to be the ambassador of Nigeria to France. However, with the background that I got and with hard work, I taught at the University of that is making intentional decision to excel at the global level. But definitely, we are bringing our students up in a way that they can stand anywhere in the world on whatever discipline they might have chosen. My father wanted me to be a medical doctor or an engineer. He wasn't much educated beyond standard 3 of those days. He called his friend and said, "This boy is not listening to me." His friend said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I want to read political science." His friend said, "What are you going to do with that one?" I said, "I'm going to be ambassador of Nigeria to France." He told my father, "ABD, let him do what he wants to do." You know, my father is ABD initial. So the world that I was looking at several years ago is now.
One of it is the faculty. Yeah. We have some of the best brains with experience in this country here. We have professors from University of Ibadan, from University of Ife. We have a vice